A series of misunderstandings and inadequate communication preceded a vintage plane crash at Warbirds Over Wanaka, according to Civil Aviation Authority (CAA) reports. Arthur Dovey was landing his Yak 3 during the opening sequence of the show at Easter 2018 when it clipped a cherry picker on the runway, seriously damaging the right wing. The cost of the damage is more than $600,000 and he is claiming damages from the airshow in the High Court. Pilot Arthur Dovey climbs from his mangled aircraft after crashing at the Warbirds Over Wanaka festival. Interestingly, Dovey and Warbirds Over Wanaka General Manager Ed Taylor say the CAA reports contain inaccurate information. Read more. Warbirds Over Wanaka Airshow founders Tim and George Wallace recall first show. Warbirds Over Wanaka releases economic impact report from 2018 airshow. Yak 52 team breaks formation flight world record at Warbirds Over Wanaka. A CAA spokeswoman said both parties were engaged as part of the investigation and were provided with the draft report. A Civil Aviation Authority diagram showing the landing of a Yak 2 during Warbirds Over Wanaka 2018. The plane was substantially damaged when it hit a cherry picker. After due consideration of their input, some changes were made to the report. The CAA, however, stands by its final report, she said. The just-released CAA Safety Investigation Brief and an Internal Safety Investigation Referral Report say the display by the aircraft and another Yak was included as a last-minute replacement for United States Air Force F-16s in the opening sequence. The F-16 display was cancelled as the arrival of a required safety observer had been delayed due to weather. Action from Warbirds Over Wanaka, including a RNZAF NH-90 helicopter, a U.S. Air Force F-16 Falcon jet, a French Air Force Cossack transport plane, and various vintage and other aircraft. The change was authorized but the CAA found no evidence of a formal risk assessment of the program change by the flight display director, as required. Before the morning airshow briefing, the military display director noticed that two cherry pickers were on the grass area next to the grass runway. The cherry pickers were to be used in a sport aircraft display but were not scheduled to be in place until after the opening sequence. He talked to the flight display director who told the sport aircraft manager that they should be moved and the manager said to leave it with him. The flight display director assumed the cherry pickers were going to be removed and reported to the morning briefing that the full width of grass, on both sides of the grass runway, was available for takeoff and landing. Pilots asked if they could land anywhere on the grass and were told, "You can, yes." However, the military flight director missed that briefing and told investigators he was aware of the cherry pickers on the grass area but believed the Yaks would be landing on the nearby sealed runway. Dovey had made a radio call reporting where he was landing, but the transmission was not heard in the airport tower and no information about the cherry pickers was passed to the pilot. Dovey told CAA investigators he did not see the cherry pickers, due to visibility limitations in the Yak. The report says the concept of inattentional blindness was a normal aspect of human sensory perception. The internal report blames a number of instances of inadequate communication for the crash. None of the significant number of well-qualified aviation professionals who attended the morning briefing and then observed the cherry pickers on the grass area identified the fact that a runway that had been promulgated as available for use was, in fact, obstructed. The brief says the authority is working with the airshow organizers to further develop and improve the effectiveness of risk mitigation strategies. However, pilots were reminded that the nature of airshow operations included unusual hazards. A heightened level of vigilance by the pilot is required at all times when operating at airshows, it says. Dovey said the reports contained some errors that indicated to him the authors were not expert pilots. He declined to comment further. He expected the High Court case would be heard later this year or early in 2020. Warbirds Over Wanaka Community Trust General Manager Ed Taylor said the report did not apportion responsibility. Warbirds is reviewing the findings and there are aspects of the report that are inaccurate. However, the matter is before the courts and Warbirds has no further comment at this time. The Warbirds Over Wanaka International Airshow is a biennial show, which attracts about 100,000 people over 3 days. The 2018 show was judged the best national event and picked up the People's Choice Award for New Zealand's favourite event at the New Zealand Event Association Annual Awards last week. Stuff.